Welcome to my channel. This is Tr8s Audio. My name is Jan. Thanks for tuning in. This time I want to explain and show you how to use the AutoFill function on your Roland Tr8s to create easy transitions. So you can have it always much more complicated, and the AutoFill function is just very easy to program and it's nothing too complicated. So if you're interested and want to know, just follow me. Okay, back onto the Roland Tr8s here. So first I have to say we are going through two patterns that chain together, and I'm using 8 variations in each pattern. That's I want to say up front. And we have our AutoFill function active in both pattern. You see, it's active. However, patterns are chained together, and I just want to give a quick overview how it sounds here. All right, let's have a listen. That's it. So pretty easy. If you wonder from where the bassline is coming from my OP1. So that's pretty straightforward here. I just use the high tom and the rim shot for little transitions, you know, very easy increasing the decay. You can have it better sounding for sure. You can make put in like a white noise, like or a sweeper or something if you want to. But just here, for example purposes, this is easier to understand. However, we want to start basically by going to our first pattern, which is here. Just go pattern select and turn the value knob, or we just press here. So now we go back into TR-Rig mode. So first I have to say, the AutoFill function is here and it's active. That's off now, and AutoFill is on. So, or you also can push it here when it's off. It's a manual trigger. That means every time you push this button, the AutoFill function triggers immediately. So if you want to like do something or just something in between, you just press it, and then doesn't matter if it's on or off, it always manually triggers it. It's pretty cool. However, I have to say our AutoFill function is set to 4. 4 means 4 bars, and 4 bars is basically variation A, B, C, D together. So that means if it's set to 4, the AutoFill comes in every single time after variation number 4, which is D and H. So you can have it on 2. When you set it to 2, then your AutoFill comes on after variation B. Pretty easy, or even more, 8, 16, 32, whatever. However, if you want to program your AutoFill you have to press and hold down Shift and then press on here. Now you see fill in edit 1. That means you have 2 AutoFill you can edit, 1 and 2. You also can exit the menu here by pressing it on and off again, or whatever you press Shift or TR-Rig. However, if you hold down this button, you see you have here a little kind of explanation, and AutoFill 1, AutoFill 2, and scatter. So if you press this, AutoFill 1 is active, and this here AutoFill 2 is active. So it's pretty easy. So we want to have AutoFill 1, yeah, in our first pattern, in our first pattern, and we want to have AutoFill 2 in our second pattern. So we just select AutoFill 1 here. And then we go to our other pattern, pattern number 2, rig mode again, press hold down this, and you see this is already selected, fill in number 2. That's pretty straightforward. So back to our first pattern. However, if you want to program your autofill in, and in our case I used this here, our decay knob for our high tom, it is like this. You have to press and hold down shift and press the on button for autofill in edit 1, because you want 1, as I said, for your first pattern. Then you basically go through your instruments. Bass drum, there's nothing selected. Snare drum, there's nothing selected, nothing selected, nothing selected. And here high tom, you see steps 3, 7, 11 and 15 is selected. That means in your autofill in, the high tom will play on number steps 3, 7, 11 and 15. There's nothing, 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 nothing. And here you have also something, because I have a background vinyl crackle to give it a bit more texture. And I want to keep this going in the autofill in, otherwise it sounds like a hole. So I think that's pretty clear. And yeah, that's basically it. So you program in your steps for the autofill in function, and that's basically it. And then press this again, and it's programmed. And then you just have to chain your variations together. If you haven't done it, chain it together. So that's pretty easy as well. So now we're going to our second pattern. Second pattern, back into the TR rig mode. And we first chain our patterns together. Our variations. Sorry, that was my bad. However, now we want to have our autofill in 2. Yeah, it's selected. Okay, and then we want to edit it. I always turn it off, press it again. Then we scroll to 2. And now you see our high tom here is fully selected, and our rim shot is also fully selected, or mostly fully selected. And our vinyl crackle is a little bit. So all the other ones, they don't have anything, which is exactly what we want in our case here. That's basically it. So you go back to your first pattern, make sure you go back to the other pattern. They're all selected, your variations are all selected, everything is selected. Then go into the TR rig mode, and then you have to chain your patterns together by holding down the first pattern and then the end pattern. Doesn't matter which one it is. In our case, it's only 2. So you see, dimly lit this one, and this is blinking. That means it starts at 1, finishes at 2, and goes back to 1, and there's always a loop. And you also have to make sure your autofill in is on in every single pattern. So that's it. So if you want to go through then here, and let's have a listen again. And I press play. C, D, and D. I just turn our decay up. And that's basically it. So what we can do is we can change it. Just let's say we use our autofill in number 2 for our first pattern as well. So we go back to our first pattern, hold down this and press 2. And then when you go into the edit menu for 2, you see we have this selected and this selected here. So well, if you want to do that, you can. Or you change it over, or you just create some tension. Basically, yeah, that's all what you have to do with the autofill in function. So it's pretty easy. Just make sure it's on. And then I always go to my second pattern and check. Okay, you see, it's off in the second pattern now. There's a catch. So always check before you start that everything is on, and double check. Because sometimes the functions turn off, especially the pattern chaining function. So now you see there's nothing chained anymore. And that's it. So now we go back to TR rig mode. All the variations are there. All the variations are there. Okay, very good. But when you go back, you have to chain again, and that's it. So now let's have a listen. This is our second autofill in here. A bit better. Now I select only pattern 2. Turned on the baseline in a really bad rhythm and select only the last 4 variations. Yeah, that's basically it. However, my OP1 is not synchronized, and I really like to have it not synchronized sometimes because you come up with some cool rhythms and then you just record that. However, that's basically it, how to use the autofill-in function. If you want to know how to use the manual trigger, like we just keep going here, and then the manual trigger, see, it blinked because that was a programmed in one. Now, you see, but now, bam, another one and another one because it comes every 4 bars. If you turn it off, trigger it, it still works, as I said. It's pretty easy. Or every second bar. Or whatever. So it doesn't do it now because it's not on. So yeah, it's sometimes there's a lot to this Tr8s, and yeah, it's already quite a bit only to chain 2 patterns together and do the variations all and do the transitions, and then make sure you have external gear. This is also working, and yeah, it's quite a lot. That's probably the reason why I never use all the channels or the instruments. So yeah, if you like my video, consider subscribing. That would be much appreciated. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment. I try my best to answer it. Then have a good day and see you later.